Malaysia's economy contracted 4.5% year-on-year for the third quarter amid the strict COVID-19 containment measures in July under Phase 1 of the National Recovery Plan, which weighed on consumption and investment activities. Department of Statistics Malaysia Chief Statistician Datuk Seri Dr. Muhammad Uzair Maidin says the decline in consumption and investment activities had more than outweighed the continued expansion in public sector consumption spending during that quarter. All economic sectors registered contraction during the quarter, led by the construction sector due to operating capacity limits. On a quarter-on-quarter basis, Malaysia's economy contracted 3.6%, a larger decline versus the 1.9% contraction in the preceding quarter. However, Uzair says monthly GDP estimates show that the impact of the containment measures was tapering as restrictions were eased in a phased manner throughout the quarter. Bank Negara Governor Datuk Nur Syamsiah Muhammad Yunos says that progressive lifting of containment measures and continued improvements in the labour market will be key to support recovery going forward. She was also quick to dispel talk that Malaysia may be facing stagflation, with BNM pointing out that economic growth is expected to accelerate in 2022. The central bank's expectation is for between 5.5 and 6.5%. Nur Syamsiah adds that there is no indication of a broad-based price increase or excessive wage pressure, and that price pressure is expected to remain moderate in 2022 amid the spare capacity in the economy. Stagflation is described as low economic growth during a time of high inflation, which could lead to an increase in unemployment. Headline inflation averaged at 2.3% year to date and is projected to average between 2 and 3% for 2021. After a marathon day of meetings, AirAsia X is set to be among the few airlines worldwide that have no gearing and a restructured cost base that is significantly below that of its competitors. AAX held 3 separate meetings with its scheme creditors today to vote on its plan to restructure 63.5 billion ringgit worth of debts, ultimately receiving 99% support from its creditors. AAX had to get support from creditors holding at least 75% of the total debt value in each of 3 classes, with the total amount owing to the 3 classes of creditors standing at 33.65 billion ringgit. Class A, comprising Malaysia Airports Holdings and financial institutions, gave 100% to the scheme, as did Class C, aircraft manufacturer Airbus Group. Class B, which included creditors with unsecured claims against AAX, such as engine suppliers and aircraft lessors, gave 97.6% support. In a statement, AAX said the overwhelming and near-unanimous support from its creditors will be presented for a court sanction in the coming weeks. Once approved, the airline will embark on its recapitalization, with completion expected in the first quarter of 2022, after which AAX will be well poised to compete very effectively in the markets where it operates. AAX co-founder and director Tan Sri Tony Fernandez also came out to reassure all passengers affected by the restructuring that it is the firm intention of the airline to put in place travelling privileges in the form of travel credits, which can be utilised for future purchases of flight tickets once international borders reopen. Carlsberg Brewery Malaysia saw its third quarter net profit sink 56% year-on-year to 26 million as top line declined and was compounded by unabsorbed fixed costs from the shutdown of its brewery. Revenue for the quarter dropped 25% to 349.3 million as both its Malaysian and Singapore operations registered lower sales. This was due to not only the temporary suspension of brewery operations but also the tightening of COVID-19 measures in both countries. No dividend was declared for the quarter. Looking ahead, the brewer remains cautious about the remainder of the financial year, given the continued closure of entertainment outlets and absence of international tourism throughout the National Recovery Plan period, as well as commodity headwinds. However, according to MD Stefano Clini, that with lockdown restrictions being eased in both Malaysia and Singapore, the plan is to launch new products in the coming weeks. He also says that building on the growth momentum of its e-commerce sales has managed to enrich its online sales and expanded its footprint to generate positive revenue streams. It It was a record-breaking day for Inari Amertron as its share price closed at a record high ahead of its announcement of an all-time high quarterly revenue and profit. The group said net profit for the first quarter of FY22 rose 53% to a record high of 107 million as revenue grew across all segments led by its radio frequency business. Revenue for the quarter rose 24% year-on-year to another record of 431.1 million. It has proposed an interim dividend of 2.8 cents per share, up from 2 cents previously. On its prospects, Inari says that barring any resurgence of new COVID-19 variants, it remains positive on its near-term prospects. It believes the momentum heading into 2022 will continue to be strong from good demand and tight supply for the semiconductor market. Shares of Inari rose 2.3% to close at a record high of 4 ringgit, giving it a market capitalization of 14.76 billion ringgit. Serba Dinamik Holdings says it has no intention to default on one of its $300 million sukuk after it missed a coupon payment. In a statement, Serba Dinamik said that the coupon payment due was approximately $7 million. The company said it has engaged and sought advice from its legal counsel as well as written to sukuk agents to notify the sukuk holders on the correct amount due. Serba Dinamik also pointed out that it has a 30-day period from the non-payment due date to cure and pay the overdue coupon obligations before triggering any dissolution event. The tranche of bonds will mature in 6 months on May 9, 2022. Notably, the May 2022 sukuk contains cross-default provisions with another tranche of $200 million sukuk, which matures on March 12, 2025. Its other Islamic bond paper has an annual profit rate of 6.9997%, which is also paid biannually. On November 12, Fitch Ratings downgraded Serba Dinamik's long-term issuer default rating to C from CCC-. Fitch added that Serba Dinamik said it planned to pay the coupon within the grace period with cash collected from customers.